Many attacks, street attacks, involve a weapon of sort. Now, in Western country, you have to worry of guns. In more our Asian context, especially Singapore, a knife is one of the most brutal weapons that are basically easily accessible. So let's say I dug out, now it's coming, now I need to check. And I check it at the elbow so that even if the person straighten arm, you can't reach. Okay? Again, same thing I can do, a takedown from there. Okay, now pause. Now, you notice that as the person is down. My name is Yu Chai. I'm a psychologist by training, but I've been a martial artist for now 36 years. And I co-founded Kapap Academy together with Yin Chen, my top student. Our mission is simply to empower ordinary people with realistic self-defense skills. In those days, when you get beaten up and you even dare to complain to your parents, they'll probably scold us and say, what's wrong with you? Why can't you be a man? I was very close to my brother. My brother, in those days, it was not uncommon again for an older brother to bring up younger brother. So he took care of me, and there was a lot of bond between us. My parents had a lot of issues with each other. There were always money issues, and the family was not stable. As a result, I think at a very young age of 13 years old, he started to mix with bad company, and then he got involved in drugs. Unfortunately, just as about when he was trying to turn good, he was attacked by 5-6 people in the streets of Johor. And they used sticks and pipes, and it literally fractured his skull. And from there onwards, he was in coma. I was very affected, and at some point, to be honest, I went in my own room, I went on my knees before God, and I literally prayed and begged, why must this happen to my family, particularly my brother? In the midst of the prayers, I somehow got the calling that my suffering was actually not without a purpose, and the purpose was to help reach out and save lives. And this was a pact in a way I kind of made with God. It was a very personal journey that doesn't matter what other people think about it, but this was what I had to do. If you really want to survive a real attack, you must be able to take some degree of pain. On the street, the fight begins after the first punch. Let me show you some more realistic situations in terms of kidnapping situation. The thing you want to do is you want to do a chin tuck in on this side so that you have a bit more layer of human flesh and bone against the sharp part of the blade. Second thing you want to do, you want to do a surrender. So you want to say, please don't hurt me. That's a strike from there. Okay, so let me show you again. All right, so I'll do. In the quest to improve on my skill sets, I took several years off and I went around the world to study from people who are Israeli commandos. I realized one thing that realistic martial art was very different, a lot more brutal, a lot more scary. I was already in the 40s, trying to drag my body to go and train. I've had my ribs broken, forearm broken. Believe me, I felt like giving up. What kept me going was my mission. I had a mission to do. I made a promise to God, to myself, I need to finish it. This is my favorite position. Okay? Now, doesn't matter where the hands are. I use my hip, I drive down, then I grab the wrist. Now I form a figure 4. I go into your figure 4 lock. The central ideology behind Kapap Academy is that an ordinary person, somebody with no martial art background, not exactly very athletic, is able to defend themselves. All right? And eventually we came up with our own brand, which is called Modern Street Combatives. I actually initially thought that there will be more guys who will be interested to learn self-defense for the reason of protecting not just themselves but their loved ones. And I was proven wrong. As it turned out, more ladies actually came to learn self-defense. The ladies were appreciative on the whole. However,
I would often get comments from some of these participants that, sure, it's easy for you to do it because you're men. So this is where I went to approach one of my female students, Chin Yin Chen, and I asked her if she would want to join me in this mission of reaching out to the ladies.
So because you're an Asian, I think sometimes they thought that you should know just a little bit more. Good. My first session when I went down, I met Master Teo. Being a petite-sized lady then, I always felt that there is a chance that I could be potentially assaulted. He taught me how easy it was for a very small-sized lady like myself to get out of a potential rape situation, even if the attacker was a much bigger and stronger guy, compared to me. I felt that there was so much more to learn to defend myself, and therefore I kept coming.
One of the impressions I had about Yin Chen was that that she was not very, she had somewhat a low self-esteem.
So when I was younger, at the age of 17 years old, I developed anorexia. I always needed external validation from other people to feel good about myself. I had already dropped 20 to 30 kilograms and I was weighing at 37 kilograms. My brain had shrunk, my heart had shrunk, basically my organs had all shrunk because of malnutrition. And the doctor told me that if you lose 2 more kilograms, you will die. I think when I first met Master Teo, he would agree with me that I was a person lacking very much in confidence and very reserved. But as I started practicing martial arts, I started, because of the training I had, the fact that I was not allowed to give up even when I felt like I wanted to. When I thought that I couldn't make it, and I did in the end, it made me feel good. So I realized that I actually don't need to lose weight to seek validation to feel good about myself. I could feel good about myself because of how I've seen myself grown from a weak person to a stronger person. And I think that part of resilience really made me develop the confidence I need to push forward.
With the kind of exposure and the training she received, and also the values I tried to impart on her, she eventually became who she is. Very confident young lady and very capable indeed. The women related to her better, and she could teach and make it convincing much more than I could.
Right? So if he punches me, oh, okay, well, that's going to buy me some time, but not forever. And then, so pretend to punch me, pretend, punch, oh, okay? All right, there we go. Now watch what happens to his hands now. Now they're preoccupied. Grab it. Okay? I'll grab it now. Tighten your fist. Put your elbows on the floor. Now that's for his safety, by the way. Now just go back. Same thing, try. And just try. There we go. Would you rather hit your heart here or hit your heart down here? Okay? Alright, one more time.
I had done quite a fair bit of pro bono work helping ladies who have been sexually assaulted and even raped. Alright? When I hear some of these cases, I realize that 90% of the attacks would not have been successful had they known what to do. Alright? So then I thought to myself as a psychologist, instead of reaching out to them after they get attacked, why don't I operate like a martial artist and teach them how not to get in the situation?
This is very common, all right, in attack. Now, when a guy grabs you, you hold tight, most of the time girls are struggling here. No need. Move your lower teeth, see the groin, right? You whack. Okay? Now, you can make a fist and here, or you can use a palm, doesn't matter. Now, for training purpose, don't really hit each other's groin, otherwise you won't be friends anymore. When
we deal with victims of sexual attacks, one of our concern is to help them get past inner hell that they go through. That sense of helplessness they experience lingers on. So when they revisit the scenarios of the attack, in the course of the training, by going through over and over again, they feel that I now can get out of this situation.
I understand that Singapore is a very lovely, safe country, but I'm not going to take it for granted, and I know that going to New York is going to be a big step. I didn't expect myself to manipulate someone's joints when I first joined. I thought I was going to be throwing people on the floor, but when I joined, then I realized that the reality is very different, and this is much more practical.
It taught me that being small doesn't mean that I cannot overtake someone bigger my size. Just attacking the right place at the right time. Confidence plays a big part. If I'm scared, I lose half the battle already.
I've been a lifelong martial artist myself, but what has changed since coming to training with Master Teo is He's taught us to really think on our feet more and also to keep calm under duress. Like he tells us, he puts us under these kinds of stress and strain to teach us to stay cool under pressure.
Today in our studio we have Jo Yu Chai and Chin Yun Chuan.
Why I grab here is because I want to punch or I want to slap.
Yeah.
Now, what she will do instead is she will pin the hand, she attack the elbow and she turns and this will break my structure.
It's actually fairly simple in that sense.
Yes,
it doesn't
yes,
require hours of training, special moves, but
That's right.
Now what you want to do is to push, pull. So this arm here push, this leg slides back. Not push, pull. Alright, push this arm in front, the leg slides back at the same time.
We're quite proud to say that Kapap Academy is today the top self-defense school. We have managed to penetrate into over 130 companies and 83 or 85 schools by now. Getting people to recognize that the ordinary person can defend himself or stand up for himself, that's achievement in its own right.
As ladies, you don't even have a lot of strength to begin with. Alright? So you want to use a small amount of force that you have, a small amount of strength that you have, to overthrow a bigger guy. And it's possible. We know how to do the right thing. Right hand on the wrist, left hand on the elbow. Okay.
I'll take a look.
1, 2, 3, go!
After I saw how great a job In Chen was doing in reaching out, how she could easily connect to a woman that I could otherwise, couldn't reach the same level of connection, I felt that it was only right that she become the person to lead the organization. She had the heart for people. People respond when they know that you care for them, sincerely care for them. And I was very impressed. She's a very caring person, very kind soul. My purpose of stepping down was so that a better person can lead the organization to the next level.
The journey from being a student to a trained martial artist has taught me a very important lesson. And the lesson is that we all have to recognize we have fears and weaknesses. When I was an anorexic person, I refused to accept and I refused to overcome those insecurities. As a result, it manifests into something that could have taken my life. But after I joined, Kapap and I started, embracing martial arts as part and parcel of my life, I realized that I could actually face up to those fears. In the process and under the guidance of my teacher, I eventually overcame some of these fears and become a much more resilient person than I am today.
A true martial artist is actually a warrior inside before you're a warrior in fighting. If a guy is good at fighting and that's all he has, how is it different from being a thug or a hooligan? What makes a warrior, all right, is his spirit. His willingness to stand up for the little guy, for others, to right a wrong. That's what makes a warrior. Actually, I think about it from time to time, whether or not this effort has honored my brother, or at least made meaning of his life. The best people to say whether or not I've succeeded would be the people that receive our training. Over the years, I would say that I received quite a few feedback from my students, and generally they felt that I made a difference in their lives, and for that I'm grateful. The message I have for people out there who experience what I experienced when I was young is that there is a way out. I need not be weak. I need not be afraid. I can be the person I want to be in terms of being strong and being able to move on in life if you're willing to work at it.